Good morning. It is Tuesday, 8:22, and I'm at a Bosch Greentherm. I'm doing a tankless flush and replacing some components. So here's the unit. I've been here a few times. I've replaced a sensor, but we were getting an error for a bad blower, and Bosch was suspect of the board as well as the blower, because oftentimes when the blower goes bad, the board will go bad with it. So our control board's right here. We have a new one right here. Which hopefully is the right one. And then we have a blower, which again, hopefully is the right one. The homeowner purchased the parts, not us, so we'll have to see. Part number, let's see, RG128 1300 3612 020306 -120. So it is going to be the right one. So get that all taken apart, get the new ones in. Hopefully it's nice and easy. I already disconnected this gas tubing, and then I can loosen the tube nuts right here. There's one all the way in the back that's really long right there. So we'll see how easy it is. Okay, so here's the new one, here's the old one. I'm gonna work on it side by side like this. That way I can make sure I do everything identical to how it was. This is the clip that went on either side of the bolts that wedged the blower right up against this plate here. It's an O-ring that will be replaced. So this should be fairly simple. So we got a new O-ring right here, and this fan shroud with that tab locks in right there. And our 3 screws. Just get them all caught. I gotta do both hands. So it was a little bit tricky, but I got both caught, that long one in the back and this one in the front, and I'll tighten those nice and evenly with an adjustable. So that's all nice and tight. This should slide up and lock in. So up and in like that, and that's in there. So everything looks a little bit crooked here, but that's what it is. That's how it is. So now the control, which that one's going to be a little bit tougher. Still got all those connections to worry about. Okay, so I just undid all the connectors. They all slid out nicely around the edges, and I think I can just gently pull it up and take it out. Yep. And put that off to the side. See if there's any noticeable differences. Nothing crazy except that these two white blocks on here are black. But everything else seems to look identical. And I guess I gotta take this card and put it in the new one. Let's see, how does that come out? Looks like I gotta pry that away while pulling at it, so I gotta use both hands. Okay, pulled it right out and pop the new one right back in. Came with new buttons too, so toss those buttons, put in these nice new white ones. They don't have that yellow discoloration yet, so that's nice. Okay. Then I could pop the new board in and get everything reconnected. Okay, so I just finished my flush, and I just bought this pump today because my other one failed. So now what I'm gonna start doing is, I don't know if it failed because of this reason, but I'm gonna purge the pump of chemical by hooking up my hose and just opening it up and running clean water through before I put it away. Okay, so my hose goes into the toilet. That way I can do my best to flush with as much clean water as possible to remove any of that chemical out of there. That way we don't contaminate the drinking water. So let that flush for a bit. And I'm going to move on to the neutralizing media, which I brought a bucket up for, a dirty bucket. I don't use the same bucket for dirty things as I do for the flushes. And I'll change out the media. He has some here, but I'm gonna have to use some of what I have, which isn't the beads, it's the rocks and the mineral. Okay, so I tried my best to clean it out. The fogginess you're seeing is actually the powder from the new stuff mostly, but you could see half of it is his, half of it is ours, topped with that actually neutralizing powder. So I'll get the cap on, I'll shake it around a little bit, that way it all mixes, and plop it back on. Okay, so got everything in and we're running. I cycled it on for heating as well as for domestic water, but now I'm going to do a combustion analysis and make sure that it's burning safely and properly. So do that through the test ports right up there. Okay, so finished up with that. Now I'm on my way to a customer I was at yesterday. Their AC was frozen, so I told him it needs to thaw. He didn't want me sitting there all day with like a torch trying to thaw it out. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I've just been in and out a couple of times. I asked the homeowner to turn the breaker back on for the air handler because he turned it off and he didn't turn it on right. So, but I plugged in my gauges and I'll plug the disconnect in and we'll see what we get. Here's our standing pressures, 67. I believe we're at about like 70 or so degrees outside, so not terrible. And then I'll put this in there. And we'll see what happens with our pressures. We're going low, but we should come back up. Let it sit for a little bit. I mean, it's looking like it's gonna be low and we have a high superheat so far, but we'll see what happens. It's an R-22 system, so it's gonna stink if he needs refrigerant. Okay, so it looks like this is gonna be around where our pressures are gonna stabilize at. So it looks like we're gonna be low And I'm just going to confirm whether or not we have a TXV or a piston inside. Okay, so I discussed with the customer, and it is a piston, and we are going to go ahead with charging for the time being, and he knows that replacement's coming. So at just shy of a pound, and here's where our pressures are sitting. Don't need to pay attention to subcooling, but I'm going to bump it up. I think we're going to be closer to 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. System came with 6 pounds. High side pressure is very high. This coil is like completely deteriorating. Manufactured in 2003, so it's gonna come time soon that this needs to be swapped out. I'm gonna guess that it's just gonna finish lasting them this season, and they'll be swapping it out next season. But there's our pressures currently, and we're also gonna be doing sealant with dye for the sealant, not for the dye, because we're not gonna be looking for trying to fix this leak. Okay, so our superheat's starting to come down at 1 pound and about 11 ounces. 38 degree evaporator, but our condenser is very high. I just got out my thermal imaging camera, and we can read our discharge temperature. A little bit tough to see from camera to camera, but condenser fan motor is very hot. It's just cool to see different things. You can see our discharge line here, very hot. Let's see, we're in about the 100 degree range. Let's see, we'll see what a temperature sensor says though. And it actually looks like our top down infrared sensor was like dead on. Been hovering around 97, 99, so that's nice to see. Nice to know that that's pretty accurate. But superheat's coming down to the 20s. I think we should be okay here. I'm going to check the temperatures inside. Here's that indoor unit, which is also a 4-ton piston, big air filter, dead cat. Have 78 degree return. Still dropping on our supply. Okay, so I am now at a Hayward Heat Pro heat pump pool heater, and this thing's old. This is the heater, which you can hear actually is running. I've been here for not too long, maybe about 30 minutes, and we have about 75 degree outdoor temperature, and we will see when we're discharging. It feels so nice and cool, so I'm sure we're discharging cold, but I had to do a quite a good amount to it. The fan motor does not spin well, but you know, it is what it is. It's old. I had to replace a wire going from the 18 and 17 sensor terminals in the center of the screen, going down to a sensor. So many of these wires were frayed. If you see all that black electrical tape on all those black wires, tape right there, it's in rough shape. It's over 12 years old. Oh boy. But I told the homeowner that it's time to consider replacement, or at least I'm gonna emphasize that. Oh no, that was weird. Oh no, what's going on? 62 degrees. Yeah, so we're discharging nice and cool, but I'll check the temperature of the jets as well, the warmer water that it's putting out. Okay, so here's our jet. It's pointed up like a little weirdly, but reading 83 degrees in the pool, around that. If I switch over my temperature to my T2, 84, that's the one that's out of the water. Put it right in that jet. Oh, I missed. It's tough. And this is a powerful jet. Can't get it in there. And in the jet, we're at 86.9. And if I press temperature again, I'll get our delta. And 2.6, so not spectacular, but it's something. They need to replace it. But, yeah, so we're heating, which is, you know, good. But absolutely, it's time. This thing is too old. It's just so nice. I love that cool air now. Okay, so yeah, she was really happy that I fixed the pool heater, but that's gonna be it. Hopefully you enjoyed watching. I just stopped at a supply house to pick up some Fujitsu parts. Also ran into the Bosch sales rep at the supply house, which was cool. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed watching the video. Comment any advice or criticisms or feedback, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.